Okay, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we're going to be making a magnifying glass. So this is just a little prop that we can practice doing. Let's go ahead and delete the default cube real quick. I'm going to go ahead with, let's go with a circle to begin with. We'll go to edit mode. I'm going to press F for fill. And what I'm going to do is, let's go ahead and just split this so you guys can see what's going on the sides. We're going to go ahead and just go with E for extrude. Make sure that you're staying along the Z axis. And I'm just going to go S for scale. Move this outwards just slightly. E for extrude. And I'm just going to go ahead and make a nice fancy handle. So let's go ahead. Just kind of make this. Middle. Going to go E for extrude and just bring this all the way up, and then I'm going to go ahead and just make it a nice little kind of bevel nook just here. So we'll go E for extrude again, S for scale, E for extrude, S for scale. Just go ahead and just make a nice little pattern. You can go ahead and make like a little bit more of a pattern than me if you'd like. E for extrude. And what I'm going to do, I'll just leave it like that just for the moment. So this is going to be the wooden part of the handle. And then I'm going to add the little bronze part afterwards. So let's go ahead and just go to object mode. Right click shade smooth, so this will be the wooden part. Let's go ahead and add a cylinder. And all you want to do for the end, just up here, is let's go with G. Bring this up. You can go on X-ray if you want to, just to see where this sits. X-ray is just up at the top right here. Let's go S for scale. G just to bring this down. S for scale. And then G just to bring this down again. And what I'm going to do, let's go with right click shade smooth. We'll go edit. Take the top part right here. Let's go G just to bring this down just ever so slightly. And then E for extrude. S for scaling. E for extrude. You can make like a nice little pattern on here if you wanted to. But for this one, I'm just going to go ahead, just scale this in just slightly, E for extrude, and then I'm going to go E for extrude again, and then just bring it back out on the sides just as such, just like this. Oops. And we're going to have something like this. So now, once we've got this, what we're going to do is we're going to make the ring for the magnifying glass. So let's go ahead and just go back to object mode real quick. Let's go to add, and we'll go to cylinder again. G just to bring this up. You want to go R for rotate. Let's go with 90. And then all we want to do is S for scale. And what essentially you want to do, you can make this as big or as small as you want to. This is your magnifying glass. Just going to go ahead and go inwards like this. Right click shade smooth. And then we're going to go ahead with edit mode. I'm going to go ahead and take this face at the front right here and press shift, and this face at the back right here. We'll go ahead and we'll press delete, and you want to go faces. I'm going to go ahead and just press A to select everything. E for extrude. Leave it where it is. And then S to scale inwards. So now you can go ahead and you can kind of make a nice little pattern here. So I'm going to go ahead and just press E for extrude again. Leave it where it is. S to scale. Just going to go ahead and scale this just inwards. as such. E for extrude again. Leave it where it is. S to scale inwards. So you've got this nice kind of curve on the inside, and then E for extrude again, leave it where it is. S for scale, and you just want to scale outwards. So now you've got that nice little ridge on the inside. So now what we can do is we can go Control R, have a ridge on the outside, scroll the scroll wheel just as such, and then S for scale, just to bring out that nice little bevel at the side. So once we've got something like this, let's go object mode. I'm going to go ahead and just pull this upwards a little bit so it just sits on top of our metal piece right there, as such. And all we need to do now is place the glass on the inside. So we can do that by, let's go, you can go with circle, you can go with cylinder, it's totally up to you. To be honest with you, if you go with circle, you can kind of make that little bevel on the glass. Let's go with circle. So if we've got it like that. Yeah, so you got your circle right here. Let's go G, bring this up. And essentially you want to get this in the middle, so try and get it as close to the middle as you can. R for rotate. We're going to go 90 degrees, and then S for scale. Just scale this up so that it sits and fits on the inside. I'm going to go ahead to the edit mode real quick. We're going to go F for fill. And what we can essentially do here is we can go E for extrude, leave it where it is, S for scale, and then just press G and just bring it forward slightly. E for extrude, leave it where it is, S for scale, and then just press G again and just bring it forward slightly. So now we have this kind of flat side and we have this kind of pulled out side slightly. So what we're going to do is, let's take this side right here, and we're just going to press delete. Delete faces. Press A to select everything, and then E for extrude, just to make that glass back up to where you need it to be. So now you've got this slightly curved glass. We're going to go ahead, right click shade smooth. So now we have our little model right here. And all we need to do is start adding the materials to this. So let's go to material tab, we'll go new. This is going to be the wood base, but I'm going to put this as black. Kind of like a metallic. Let's see what we've got. If you haven't already, switch your render engine to cycles. We'll go back to materials tab here. Let's get a nice silver on here as well. So let's go with new. We can go with principal BSDF right here. Just click it. Change it to a metallic BSDF. Let's go with a nice grey. Turn down that roughness a little bit if you want that mirrored finish. Let's go. Might go with a slight kind of copper for this. So yeah, you've got that one right there. Click the piece underneath that we made before. Go down to the drop down menu and select that same copper so that it's uniform. And then for this right here, we're going to go new material. Switch out the principal BSDF to glass BSDF and turn down the roughness. So now we should have a magnifying glass. Now obviously you can't really see much that's going on right now, but what we can do is let's go ahead and add a plane. S for scale, just to bring that out a little bit. And if we place this about halfway, so we can see through the glass, we should have something like this. Now you can go ahead and mess around with your IOR a little bit. See what you can do with that. Oops. So it magnifies it a little bit in the background right there. You can't really see it as much. Hold on. Let's take this light and just pull this up a little bit, pull the exposure up, and just move this. I'm just going to go ahead and just duplicate this real quick. So you should have something like this. To be honest with you, I probably make this just slightly frosted. Just by slight. So you can see the glass. But yeah, that's roughly how to make a magnifying glass. A nice little prop that you could have for characters or whatever like that if you're doing animation. It's kind of basic. I mean, you could go ahead, let's see. You've got the shading tab right here. If you wanted something a little bit more robust, we could go with, let's see, add Veroni texture. And then place the colour into the roughness. You could have something like this. You can have a nice little texture on it if you guys can see that. Yeah. That's probably concluding the tutorial for today. Just kind of like a nice little basic kind of glass. Magnifying glass. Yeah. If you guys like this tutorial, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.